Hi there, Chloe here. Now, before we get into the episode, I want to tell you about my brand new virtual summit. Yes, I've put together another awesome set of expert speakers to show you how to succeed in an area of e-commerce. And this time, it's subscription. So if you're curious about how to grow your existing subscription business, or you're thinking of adding subscription to your existing e-commerce business or a brand new one, you need to get yourself registered. It all happens online, so you'll be able to join in wherever you are in the world. Register for your free pass at ecommercemasterplan.com/summit.
It's the e-commerce master plan podcast. Here to help you solve your marketing problems and grow your e-commerce business. Cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and advice from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello and welcome to our latest podcast. I'm Chloe and it is great to have you listening. In today's episode, we're talking content marketing, building an emotional relationship with your customers and how to outsource your phone calls, plus a few other topics as well. Now, without the sponsors, the podcast wouldn't be possible, so please do check them out. This episode is brought to you by SendPro Online from Pitney Bowes. SendPro Online makes it easy to save time and money no matter what you ship or mail. Print shipping labels and stamps right from your desk. With the SendPro software, you can compare rates between shipping carriers and gain access to special USPS savings. Try it free for 30 days and get a free £10 scale, but only when you visit pb.com/masterplan. That's pb.com/masterplan. Your network is your net worth. You've heard it many times and it's true. If you're an Amazon seller and you want to grow your network, your business and your skills, then you need to be at this year's SellerCon. From June 21st to 23rd in Las Vegas, Nevada. Get the latest tips and strategies on what's working now for Amazon sellers. You'll also have a chance to hear from some of the best entrepreneurial minds and 6, 7, 8-figure sellers today, including John Mackey, Sarah Blakely, Robert Kiyosaki, Dave Asprey, Ezra Firestone, Ryan Moran, and many others. Visit Sellercon.com and use coupon code MASTERPLAN to get an immediate 25% discount on your ticket. And now to introduce today's special guest. Karen Martin is the owner of My Pet's Ashes, an award-winning store that helps pet lovers work out what to do with their pet ashes. Founded in 2016, they now turn over £350,000 per year. Hello, Karen.
Hi, Chloe.
Great to have you here. I've just given our listeners a quick overview of you and your business, but how did you get started in e-commerce?
I started after I'd had my twins. I tried going back to work and just thought this isn't going to work for me. 3 boys under the age of 4, trying to get everybody out in the morning. I used to get to meetings at sort of 9:30 and they'd be squabbling about something completely inconsequential. And I'd be like, I've done a full day by now. I haven't got my energy. When I'm sat at a table, I need to be doing something rather than politicking. So, my partner, Rich, had been writing a blog about what to do with cremation ashes. And after doing some consultancy work, because my background was in marketing, I thought, let's do it. We put a phone number on the website and started taking orders. And customers have rung us and said, I want to put my dad's ashes on the water. And we'd say, okay. And I go off and do research about where you could do it, who would take you on a boat to do it, and what sort of thing you needed to scatter the ashes from, which products worked, which products didn't. And the business has grown organically from there. In 2016, we had a cat, April, who unfortunately got run over. And we didn't find her for about 6 months. Then when I did find her, it was pretty unpleasant. I then went to a pet creme, had an awful experience at the pet creme. I then, despite having been in sort of the cremation ashes world for a while, really struggled to tell my kids. And when I looked for advice, there wasn't much out there. There was sort of books about pet bereavement, but there was nothing real, nothing that really connected with me. And so I started again doing some research about bereavement and all that sort of thing, and realized that actually losing a pet is very different from losing a member of your family or a friend. So we set up My Pet's Ashes, and we've just done the exact same approach. We're sort of totally customer centric, and basically we wait for people to come to us with a problem, and we then go and find out the best possible way of making sure that that person is able to celebrate the life of their pet.
Very cool. So one business gave you a lot of got you into the e-commerce game and got you a lot of the skills, and then a personal experience led to the creation of kind of the spin-off brand, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. And the lovely thing as well, I mean, going back to having sort of 3 boys under the age of 4, is that people were buying things when I was asleep, which is always brilliant. Not selling your time, I think, has been one of the things I love the most about e-commerce. I work hard, I use my time, but then that, you can scale up. You can scale up with e-commerce, because more people can access it and buy it when you're asleep, or when you're just having a glass of Sauvignon Blanc because it's Friday and you've put the kids to bed and you blooming well deserve one.
Indeed. Well, look, but let's focus on My Pet's Ashes in the interview today. And can you just fill in a few of the blanks for us? So where in the world are you, and where are you selling to?
We're based down in Devon. We were in Bristol and moved down here 6 years ago because it's an e-commerce site. It doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're near some sort of hub. We're fairly close to Exeter. And we sell all over the UK. And we've been selected for the government export to growth programme because we were sort of ad hoc exporting to the USA and Australia. And we're now doing that in a much more formalised way. And we do a thing called a Viking longbow term, which is literally it's a 90 centimetre long replica Viking boat that you put in a set of ashes in, you put it on the water, you set it on fire. So we do have a bit of a following in sort of the Scandinavian countries too.
Wow. My next question was going to be, what sort of products do you sell? So that's at one end of the range. What else is encompassed in the world of My Pet's Ashes?
So we focus on really beautiful pet urns. There's a lot of people on sort of other sort of, Amazon and eBay sort of, no disrespect, but flogging urns. We think that when you've put your ashes into a receptacle, an urn, it goes from being something you've chosen to one of the most precious things you might have in your house. So you want it on somewhere where you can think about it, but you don't necessarily want to be able to tell people what it is. So we work with some amazing local talents. Again, where we're based in Devon, we're really lucky. The Devon Guild of Craftsmen's down here. We have a great big contemporary craft fair in our own hometown, which is fantastic. So we work with Plymouth College of Arts, and we work with loads of really excellent makers who will make stunning raku urns, ceramic urns, metal urns, beautiful works of art, so that when people are selecting something to put the ashes of their pet in, they can, and there's also something that looks really beautiful in the home too and works lovely in a contemporary or traditional setting. We make lots of keepsake jewellery. So we make sort of glass beads that you can put the ashes into that will fit on Pandora bracelets, for example. We have a bespoke jeweler. So if there's a piece of jewelry that you'd quite like to sort of design yourself, we can do that and seal the ashes within it in gold or silver. And we also do garden memorials because lots of people love to bury their pets in the garden, but then obviously when you move home, you're leaving them there. So we work with another local Devon producer. We use the highest quality stainless steel to create these amazing garden sculptures that have ashtainers inside. So you can pop the ashes inside, pop them in the garden. You can go out there and think about your pet whilst you're out in the garden, and it's a place that lots of pets love to be. And then if you do have to ever move home, you simply just pick up your sculpture, put it in the removal van with everything else, and take it with you, which is great, and that's a very popular thing.
Wow, who knew there was so much complexity in the world of Pet's Ashes? I've learnt already today. Now, what platform are you selling all of this via? Are you Shopify, Magento, or something else?
We use WordPress with a WooCommerce.
Cool. In which case, I'm sure you've got some other widgets on the go. So any particular ones you'd like to recommend to the audience?
We do use them, but we are, because we do actually have a lot of products and services. It's quite a complex site. We are actually now looking at getting something custom built for ourselves. possibly.
Okay, let's leave that intriguingly there then. And what does your team look like? How many of you are there? Is there anything in particular you're choosing to outsource?
We've always used an outsourced phone company, so they take our calls. They're based in Scotland. They're brilliant. They've been with us for like 5 years, so we've been able to sort of take calls, which I think when you're dealing with something as sort of personal as ashes, it's great. People can buy things online and stuff, but sometimes people just want to be able to speak to somebody. So we can literally have the phone lines open from 8:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, and open on Saturday mornings as well, which is fab. So we've always outsourced that. Obviously, we all take calls as much as we can. There's myself and my husband, Richard, in the business, and also Hannah, who's a local girl based here in Devon, who comes in. So there's 3 of us in the office every day.
And the 3 of you doing basically everything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says. So on that phone company piece, I come across a lot of businesses who are too scared to outsource their phone calls and that customer service element of it. And I think if you're outsourcing it for a customer group who are bereaved, because there's no other word for it, they're in the moment of grief and they're phoning about one of the most precious things in their life at that moment in time, that's kind of far more complex and far more brave to outsource than, someone who's buying a paperclip. So have you got any kind of advice, I suppose, to those who are dragging their heels on doing this?
Well, I think for us it was a necessity, just because Rich only came into the business full time 2 years ago. He took voluntary redundancy, so there was for 2 years it was only me with 3 kids. So it wasn't a case of it was okay. How am I going to answer all these calls? But I was very, very lucky. I looked at a number of different of the big sort of agencies online. The big I can't remember what they're called, outsourced secretary and things like that. But I found a lady who was setting up herself up in Scotland, and we had a really good chat, and we just connected, and she got us, and she was small herself, and it's been really nice. We've sort of grown together. And it's great. And so a lot of the other stuff she does is booking appointments for plumbers and things like that. So actually, all the women who work on the team really enjoy working for us because it's a bit different. And I'll get a sort of call from one of the lovely ladies saying that, there's a call from a lady here. She's really lovely, but she's lost her cat and she doesn't know what to do. And I've tried to answer questions, but can you take the call? And so do you know what I mean? Even the screening, they're fabulous, and they're really good at just saying, look, Karen's in a meeting right now, so they'll give as much information as they can. And I think it's just working with somebody who gets your business and isn't too big that the turnover of staff is something that they have to retrain all the time. I mean, there's about 4 of the team that have been working with us for the last 4 years, and they understand the website because it's a complex website, and they understand. And also we do brief extensively as well, and our site's very content rich, so often if a customer rings up with something, it means that they probably they've just found the number online and just want to speak to somebody. So the ladies can actually just sort of put it into the search and it'll pop up the answer anyway. So
one of the things I find quite interesting with what you're just saying there is that you're not with a kind of like a traditional e-commerce call center. You're with almost an outsourced virtual assistant service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess with what your customers are phoning, they're not phoning up, can I place an order for X? Or I've got a problem on their website with X. They're phoning up because they need that advice and that help. So if you've got a call center employees who are used to people who are dealing with stressful things, i.e. the boiler's broken if they're dealing with plumbing inquiries, and people who want some help and advice, then they've already got those kind of like soft skill sets in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've just got these lovely, warm Scottish accents as well. Just really, I love hearing them. So, and also they sound efficient. It's lovely. It's really nice. They're great.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that extra insight. Hopefully, if you're out there listening and you've been considering outsourcing some of your phone calls, Karen's given you some more clarity on just how to go about doing it there. Now, Karen, you mentioned the content side of things, and you are a content heavy business, aren't you?
Very, yeah.
Is that purely for a customer service standpoint, or is it a key part of your marketing strategy?
It's both. When we set up, there was no advice. There was nothing. There was nothing in there at all. if you look on any of our competitors' side and have a look at the way that their pages are structured, you might notice a very strong resemblance to some of our stuff. we know Rich has written a guidebook that's rated 5 stars on Amazon. We do research. So, for example, on the human side, we did a piece of research about which football grounds allow you to scatter the ashes. And because we're dealing, we're not just a website business where they just get through to an outsourced company or they just click and buy, or it's, based on price. People come to us and ask us questions. So we very much, we've been asked it a couple of times. We go, actually, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that before. So we'll go off and do the research. And so we have original research on the site. And really weirdly, there's a north-south divide going back to the football grounds. If you're in the north, you've got far more chance of getting your ashes scattered on the football pitch than you are in the south. Pretty weird. So we do try to do answer these questions. I mean, because it's interesting. I know talking about death isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it's fascinating, and it happens to all of us. And over 75% of people will get cremated. So whether you want to think about it or don't want to think about it, I bet 90% of your customers have had to hold a set of ashes or have been invited to a crematorium service. So whether you want to acknowledge it or even think about it, it's an important thing. And because we're not flogging sofas, it's important that we get it right. So we people regularly ask us, can I take my ashes to, can I go to, can I take my dad's ashes to France? He wants, he loved the Loire Valley and wants to scatter the ashes there. So we do all this, we speak to all the airline companies and find out, who says yes, who says no, what they want it carried in, what's going to happen to the customs the other side, all that sort of thing.
Gosh, I couldn't have ever believed that we're up to 75% cremations now, but also the level of complexity around ashes, which I guess it's one of those things which none of us consider until we're faced with having to actually deal with it, which is kind of the point at which you really don't want to have to phone up all the airlines and ask all the questions. So if you can, as a business, if you can be there to help them, then the chances of them buying from you and recommending you to others in the future becomes that much greater.
Yeah, I mean, I like to position myself. It's probably a bit grand considering we're a micro business, but I like to think we're the John Lewis of our area, in the fact that we're the experts. And even if you end up buying your washing machine from Currys because of price base, you're probably going to John Lewis first and ask them which is the best washing machine to buy. And
it's a good place, and we talk a lot these days about the need to build that emotional connection and that relationship with the customers, which I guess it sounds like it's just something that's come naturally to you over the years.
Yeah, it's always been. I mean, it's. As I said, it's not a sofa. You don't want to just give somebody a half answer. It's really important, and it only takes a couple of phone calls of speaking to people who are so desperate to get it right, and who, lots of people don't. They'll say they want to be cremated, but they won't say what they want done with the ashes. Again, that's changing. People are becoming, thinking a little bit more ahead about how they would like that, because it's a very different thing to the funeral. The funeral's very raw. And there's often a lot of family tension, and it can be, it's very, very quick after the death often. So it's a bit rushed and a bit intense. Whereas what you decide to do with the ashes comes a bit later, and it can be much more celebratory, and you can think about all those things that you probably didn't get to say at the funeral. So people want to get it right, and we want to give them all the right advice for being able to actually sort of do things so that they can, just say goodbye properly.
And the content that you've created on the site, if for you, is content marketing very much we're going to put it on the website and the links and the traffic will come, or do you do some outbound content marketing as well?
We're doing more. We were very much started as a blog and have grown organically. So one of our sort of key strategies this year is looking at how much more we can push this. We do business to business push marketing, but it's a tricky one in the sense that people don't want to be repeat customers. You don't want to give somebody a loyalty card. You don't want to send somebody a calendar going, "Hey, it's a year since you scattered your mum's ashes. Anybody else you want to do?" It's quite a challenging, way to market. So we like to sort of, have the blogs there, but we are looking, because we've got sort of 8 years, coming up for 9 years now, of content. And I think we need to be doing something more structured with it.
Yeah, I suppose the email marketing automation campaigns probably not that high on your list, on your marketing to-do list, are they?
I don't think it'd be appreciated. Really.
No, the mind boggles. A good party game for e-commerce people, I suppose. You know.
Yeah, and any tips or ideas, please. You know where I am.
So, what do you think's the most awesome thing about your business right now?
I think the brilliant thing is that we are so very different to the people flogging stuff. I've just created a 12-step pet bereavement program, which takes you through on a monthly basis all the different aspects of your pet bereavement journey and ways of looking after yourself. And when I'm writing it, what's been really lovely is just looking through all the lovely healthy recipes and exercise and mindfulness tips, and then all the lovely ways that you can memorialize your pets. And we're ramping up all the photography, so that's all starting to look. It feels like it's really starting to look really beautiful. And I think the really lovely thing is if it's happened to you and you're feeling sad, when you come on the website, that difficult thing should be a little bit easier.
E-commerce Master Plan is supported by some of the greatest companies in the e-commerce sector. Here's a reminder of who they are.
Are you paying too much to send out packages and letters? Wouldn't it be nice to have a solution that can give you the lowest rates? With SendPro Online, it's easy to save time and money no matter what you send, from packages to overnights and letters. Easily compare USPS, UPS and FedEx rates all in one online tool. Gain access to special USPS savings for letters and priority mail shipping. Print shipping labels and stamps from your own printer. Track all of your shipments and get email notifications when they've arrived. SendPro Online is only $14.99 per month, and for being an e-commerce master plan listener, you can get a free 30-day trial to get you started, plus a free £10 scale to help you accurately weigh your packages. Visit pb.com/masterplan to access this special offer. That's pb.com/masterplan. Experience the better way to ship with a free trial of SendPro Online. Get life-changing business-building tips from people like John Mackey, co-founder of Whole Foods, Sarah Blakely, CEO and founder of Spanx, Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author of the Rich Dad series, Dave Asprey, founder of Bulletproof Coffee, and many others. Learn, meet and mingle with 6, 7 and 8-figure Amazon sellers who will teach you current strategies working on Amazon now. Get your ticket to SellerCon from June 21st to 23rd in Las Vegas, Nevada. Visit Sellercon.com and use coupon code MASTERPLAN to get an immediate 25% discount on your ticket.
It's time for the top tips round.
I love the top tips because it gives me and our listeners even more ideas for taking our businesses to the next level. So, Karen, first up, the book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
I'm going to be really, really boring, I'm afraid, on this one, because I am proper old school marketing. And I don't think you can go far wrong from reading Wally Olin's brand book. Understanding brand is just at the nub of selling. It's a book I most revisit. Sometimes I get a bit like, with the new Instagram story or Facebook Live and what should I be doing? And I get caught up in the medium. And it's one of those books you just go back to and go, what am I trying to achieve? What am I doing here? What's our story? And it's somewhere I go and find it helps me rebuild what we're doing, and that really, really helps me. So that's the one I'm going to recommend.
Excellent. I don't think we've had that one recommended before, so definitely not a boring choice.
Oh, good.
The traffic top tip then. Which marketing method do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
Word of mouth. Word of mouth. In our business, it's all word of mouth. And we, speaking to funeral directors, and we're not an impulse buy. We're a considered purchase. So I think it's that making sure everywhere you go, I never go anywhere without wearing the jewelry. I speak to friends. Yeah, word of mouth for us.
Okay, then the tool top tip. Maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
As somebody with a very, very low boredom threshold, I never ever learned the sort of graphic design techniques to get from what was in my head visually onto something else. So I absolutely love Canva. It's brilliant. It makes everything. I can, I've got to get something out right there, got to get it on Facebook, got to think, and it takes me like 10 minutes to get it, I mean, I wouldn't say it was perfect, but it gets it up there and it's of decent enough quality to put on there. And I love it. And it just cuts out all that sort of slowing down. It can make me very, very responsive.
Okay, then the growth top tip. If you met someone today who's focused on growing their e-commerce business from 100 orders per month to 1,000, what would be your number one tip for them?
Believe and get out there and tell your story. Don't be scared. Go and do a podcast with Chloe.
Which is exactly what you did. I put out a hashtag journo request thing on Twitter last week, didn't I? And you're already on the show. So
yay.
Anyone out there who wants to do that, if you go to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, you will find a link to apply to be a guest. So there are no excuses for not applying. Sorry, I completely distracted from your growth top tip there. Was there anything else to add on that one, or are you all good?
No, if we could increase our orders by that amount, come and speak to me.
Cool. Well, look, Karen, before we say goodbye, could you please let the listeners know where they can find you and your business on the web and social media, please?
Okay, so my business is mypetsashes.co.uk. If you put in pet ashes into any of the search engines, we'll come up. It's the exact same at My Pets Ashes on Facebook, Instagram. And if, I don't know if this is okay, Chloe, we've got a little offer going at the moment. If you do want to get in contact, if you put the coupon code of Masterplan into anything you purchase on site, I will give you 5% off any of our lovely Pets Ashes into jewellery.
Of course, that's okay. And very lovely of you to do it too. Now, is it worth mentioning the other businesses URL as we've talked about it a couple of times?
Yeah, Scattering Ashes. So Scattering Ashes is basically looks after all the human ashes. So that's scattering-ashes.co.uk. If you put scatteringashes.co.uk into it, you'll come up with a thrash metal band. They're constantly promoting us on Facebook, which is quite interesting, inviting us to various concerts. If you put that into again in the search engines, that'll come through. And we're on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and where else are we? Twitter, with all of those. So, yeah.
And Karen, I believe you're up for a big award at the moment.
Yeah, we're really excited. We've been selected for the Southwest region, which is a really big region, as Family Business of the Year award.
Cool.
There's a sort of so you get a regional award, and then you go through to if you get selected for that, you then go through to the national awards. But both in the regional and the national section, they've got a People's Choice Award, so people can actually vote. So if your lovely listeners would like to vote for us, that would just be amazing. If you wouldn't mind, that'd be fab.
That'd be very cool. And then the link's quite complicated, so we're going to put that on the show notes, everyone, so you can go and vote now, ideally. Go to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast. You will see a link to this show. Click on that and you will see a link to vote. Okay, really straightforward. Won't take you very long and would be massively appreciated by Karen and her family.
Thanks, Chloe.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that, Karen. And thank you so much for being on the E-commerce Masterplan podcast. It's been great chatting to you and hearing so much about your fascinating business.
Thanks very much, Claire. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Now, to get your hands on the show notes from today's show, including the top tips, links, details of how to vote and related episodes, then head over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast. If you're enjoying the e-commerce master plan podcast, then please do share it with your e-commerce friends. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, over a coffee, over some kind of like latte or decaf thing. I really don't mind, so long as you spread the word, because the more people we can get listening, the more people we can help. I hope you have a great week and keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the e-commerce master plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast.